you heard a lot of alarming myths, myths, about cruising? Well, I'm here to help debunk them for you. Please stay tuned. Hi, Grandma Bev here from Life with Grandma Bev, and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're new, I don't just do travel videos or cruise ship videos. I do all kinds of stuff. And one thing about me is what you see is what you get. I'm me. I don't edit the whole thing. You're not going to get a professional looking video. You're going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, as to what I think. I should tell you, I am a woman in my early 70s. I've done about 25 cruises, still cruising. So I've got a lot of experience on the ships. Plus, I was a travel agent many years ago, and I sold cruises. Things have changed since then. But I thought I'd share with you today, and I've got notes here, so bear with me. I can't remember everything. It's the top 15 cruise myths debunked. MYTHs. I can't say that word myths. So I'm going to go over some of these, and because these are going to be my opinions. So, don't think that this is the absolute, because I said it. No, these are my opinions. Other people have other opinions. So let's get started. Number one is cruises are only for old, stuffy travelers. No. That may have been years and years ago, because back then the only people who could really afford to go on cruises were people who, had already done all their working years and had money saved and could go on trips. By the time I started cruising, they were catering to young people, especially some of the cruise lines like Carnival, Royal Caribbean. There's different varieties of ships that maybe cater towards certain groups of people. Or like if you want to go on Virgin, I'd say that's for any age, because let's face it, everybody's into wanting to have fun, different degrees. Yeah, so it's all a matter of what ship you pick. Yeah. I know Holland America back then used to be kind of known for the over 60 crowd. Well, they've all seen the light and decided to start, changing their ships to include activities for kids, for families, for young people. So you'll see a variety. And a lot of times on some of these ships, you'll see, like on Carnival, a lot of older people, and they're just having a blast along with everybody else. Everybody's got a lot of the same wants and interests, no matter what your age is. So let's make sure that I didn't leave anything off from my notes. It's like I say, retirees have the time and budget to travel on longer sailings. So, yeah, you may see older people on the longer sailings because they don't have to work towards when the kids are out of school to go. We can just go anytime, which is nice. And you'll get there someday. Let's see. According to CLIA, which is the Cruise Lines International Association, millennials make up the greatest percentage of cruise passengers who plan to cruise again, with Gen X and Gen Z following close behind. So see, it's not just for older people. I mean, younger people aren't stupid. They see a good thing when they see it. Hey, I want to go have fun. So let's see. I think that's about all I really need to tell you. And some of the ships may have adult-only areas if you're on a ship that includes children too, or there's some cruise ships that don't allow children. So it all depends on what you like. There's something for everybody. There's themed cruises that may attract a certain percentage of age groups, but there's such a variety nowadays. Oh my God. It gets hard to decide which cruises to take because there's so much to choose from and varying prices. So the next myth is cruises are crowded. Well, there again, it may seem more crowded if you're on an older ship, but now the ships today are so big they fit a lot of people. But depending on the cruise line, you may not feel too crowded. Now, I'm one who doesn't like a lot of crowds, so I don't like to wait in lines. So some cruise ships to me are too crowded. But if that doesn't bother you, go on a different cruise line. You know, I mean, you can easily find out which ones tend to be more crowded than others. You know, you just got to do your homework. Okay, myth number 3, I'll feel claustrophobic on board. No. You know, we have a friend that she would love to cruise, and he would too, but they won't go because she's afraid that cabin will be too small. Yet she lives in a motorhome 6 months out of the year. It's like, you know, they're just the same size, basically. I mean, not total same size as a hotel room. If you want to feel claustrophobic, then go stay in an inside cabin. Now, you know, the problem with the inside cabins, yeah, you could feel that way if you want to spend a lot of time in the cabin, but a lot of people don't spend a whole lot of time in there. I know when I did an inside cabin one time, I slept through the half of the next day because I didn't realize it was daylight out. So, yeah, it just depends on what you like as to whether it'll be real crowded or not. Myth number 4, I can't afford a cruise. Well, you know, you can. We've spent up to $20,000 on a cruise. We've got one coming up that'll be a little over $3,000. It just depends on the cruise line, where you're going, how long the cruise is, where you have to fly to, you know, for your transportation. So you can always find ways to go to make it cheaper. And I've noticed that some of the travel agencies and cruise lines are now starting to offer monthly payments. So you can do it that way. You just have to buckle your belt a little too if you really want to go. But I think most people can afford a cruise, and they've got some 2-3 day ones. That's not too bad to afford, you know. All right, what's number 5? Number 5. Cruise ships are disaster prone. You hear all kinds of reports about people falling overboard. How many do you hear in a year compared to how many thousands and thousands of people actually cruise? And usually it's in cases of where the people have totally gotten themselves drunk. You know, I mean, that can be controlled. That's not the cruise ship's fault. Those same people I told you about, they won't ever go on a cruise because she's afraid her husband will fall overboard because he likes to drink, you know. You know. Well, if you're that afraid of life, then don't do it. But no, they don't. The crew members undergo rigorous training and safety drills. I mean, while you're on a ship, they'll announce that if you hear certain buzzers going off or you know, alarms going off in the next hour or so, it's the a safety drill they're doing with the crew members. And they usually do those drills when it's an important day, so most of the people are off the ship. So they're always practicing it. The Coast Guard inspects the ships all the time, at least twice per year, to make sure machinery and emergency procedures are up to snuff. And as for falling overboard, it's just not possible unless you're somewhere you shouldn't be, or you're doing something you shouldn't, like standing on a balcony railing. I mean, you know, how stupid can you be? Especially if you've been drinking. And, you know, some people, you know, say, well, it was peer pressure. Well, obviously they don't say it because most of the time they don't survive. You know, don't give in to peer pressure. Geez, you know, I've never gotten hurt on a ship, and I do some drinking. Myth number 7, I'll be bored. No, unless you're just the type of person that doesn't like to do a thing. There's always various activities for all kinds of age groups, and some people just want to go and relax. A lot of times I like to go just to relax. I don't participate in a lot of the activities anymore because we've been there, done that, you know, when we were younger and our bodies cooperated more. But there's always things to do on there, always. And bring a good book with you. Take the opportunity to catch up on some reading, you know. If you go sit on your balcony or anywhere on the ship, there's always little areas you can find that are quiet, nice cuddly little areas to go do some reading. Some people like to play games. They bring cards with them, or the cruise line will have some games that you can play. There's a library, and you can just sit down and play. I've seen people, about 4 people, like playing cards at a table or something. That may sound like old people, but that's usually who they were. But but there's still something to do. You can't get bored. I mean, an example, on a number of ships, you can shop, surf, skydive, rock climb, zip line, ice skate, play laser tag, splash in pools, water slides, deck parties. I mean, one ship we're going on next September. Is it next September? No, next January. It's got one of the slide things that goes sliding down the side of the deck. Now, it won't catch me on them. But they also have a little racetrack, little cars. I'll try that. It'd be fun. You can enjoy virtual reality simulations like learning to cook, go bowling, play video games, learn a new language, do wine tasting. We did wine tasting one time. Play trivia. We like to do the trivia stuff. And enrichment lectures. At night, you can attend Broadway caliber productions, watch acrobats. Next page. And magicians enjoy indoor-outdoor movies, first run, and even IMAX. Can you just picture yourself sitting on a nice lounge chair with your blankie, because they provide blankets. They've got popcorn, and you can sit there and watch a movie under the stars. I mean, doesn't that sound exciting? In short, think of being at sea as being in Las Vegas, but at sea. Let's see, I'll be too busy. Well, that's all entirely on you. You know, you can make a cruise exactly what you want to make it. If you want to be real busy, then yeah, try to go to everything if that's your thing. If you're like me now, who's kind of past wanting to do all that stuff, just take time to relax. We like to go out on the balcony, maybe get a bucket of beer and read, and just talk. You can make it fun. I'll be too busy. No. So that one we can pass, and we just talked about. A cruise isn't an immersive cultural experience. Well, yes, it is. You get a large variety of people on that ship, and you get to meet them. You meet them at dinners, you just meet them standing maybe in a line, and you find out you got a few hours to explore each port on your itinerary. Where you can go off the beaten path experiences in the places you visit without following the crowds on bus tours or to tacky souvenir shops. You just make it your own. Just make sure you're back to the ship in time. Let's see. If you'd like to, what you really like is more time in each destination to take in local culture or nightlife, look for itineraries that offer longer or overnight port calls. Now, the one we're going to in September is in the Greek islands, and we've been to Mykonos and Greek several times. But this one, they're going to stay in port till 9 and 10 o'clock at night. We want to see those places lit up at night. Oh, man, they'd be so cool because they're cool during the day. So that's what we're looking for. And that's why we chose that particular ship, because they're staying longer. We've been on ships where they've stayed overnight in a port. So you can get off and go to dinner in town, whatever you want to do. Okay, and we'll jump to the next myth. Oh, I can say myth. I just can't say myths. There would be too many kids. No, it depends on what. If you're on Disneyland, of course it's going to be a lot of kids. But why would you go on a Disney cruise if you don't have kids with you, Find other cruises, and there'll be other kids, but they've got all kinds of activity for kids to be doing, so odds are you're not going to see them as much. Now, we prefer, being we raised our kids, we're past that stage. We try to go on longer itineraries so that we don't have too many kids around. Not terrible. You'll see when you get our age. But there's plenty for them to do. Like, okay, here they mention, I've gotten written down, the family-friendly lines are Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC, Norwegian, and Disney, all of which have amazing kids clubs to keep the little ones entertained. So they do. They keep them entertained. Let's see, make sure. Oh, here's a cool one. That was number 10. Number 11. I'll gain weight. Well, that can be controlled. Just don't eat as much. I've gained as much as 10 pounds on a cruise where I just didn't really care. I figured I was on vacation. I'm going to eat. I'll lose it when I get home. And sure enough, I would lose it within a week once I got back to my regular way of eating. And if you have specific foods you can't eat, if you tell them ahead of time, they'll make sure that you don't have those foods. And just don't order the foods that you can't eat or that are bad for you, you know. Additionally, you know, you can use the stairs instead of elevators. I find I do so much walking on those ships that I don't gain as much weight as I probably would. My downfall are all the cookies and the desserts. So, you know, you can make it work. You can go walking around the, like the promenade deck. They always have decks where you can walk around. And you see a lot of people walking around. You see people in the gyms doing things. So there's ways to keep from gaining a bunch of weight. You know, it's all on you or me. I'll get seasick. Well, in all of my years of cruising, and I have a weird tender stomach, let me tell you. I've never gotten seasick. And we've been on some rough seas sometimes. But if you are worried about getting seasick, try to pick your cabin towards the middle of the ship. Oh, let's see. They've got those acupuncture bracelets, prescription patches. You can stick, you know, behind your ears. There's a plethora of tablets, both prescription over the counter. I like to chew like ginger chewing gum, because I tend to get not seasick but land sick, because we'll go on maybe a tour in like a car sharing with people in the road. Maybe they'll go on a windy road. That's, you know, when I'll start feeling bad. And of course, you know, avoid areas that are known to be rough, such as the Bay of Biscayne, Antarctica's Drake Passage, and winter transatlantic crossings. But as far as your cabin, let me make sure I didn't skip that part. Towards the middle, and I think the lower you are, might be wrong, but consult with a travel agent and do your research. There's plenty of videos out there that you can read that will tell you which cabins to choose. In fact, I've got a video out there you know, on how to avoid bad cabins. There's no such thing as a bad cabin. It's actually the location. Okay, number 13. I have to get dressed up. No, you don't. Every ship used to have formal nights, so you'd have to bring dressy stuff. But they had the ability to rent a tuxedo for the men. So they didn't have to bring as much stuff as us women, right? So they could rent a tuxedo. I thought, well, that's not fair. But through the years, we've gotten away from it, and a lot of ships have gotten away from formal nights. Now they just like you to dress pleasantly. That's the word I think of. No shorts, of course, in the dining rooms. In the evenings, you can put on longer pants. I tend to bring, like, let's see, this shirt. I could bring this shirt, you know, to wear in the evening with a nice necklace. A little dressier shirt, which some of them that are made out of material that are so flimsy that you can just, you know, scrunch them up in a ball, put them in your suitcase. And you get there and they're fine. So it's just a matter of bringing clothing that isn't going to make you look like a bum. And I myself, I have a personal preference for not wearing jeans. Now, a lot of people do wear jeans. I won't. I'm sorry. So it's for those who want to put on a tux or ball gown, more power to you. A lot of people love to get dressed up. Or maybe they do that all the time in their regular home life, and so it's no big deal to bring all that stuff. It does really add to your baggage you got to bring, though. We try to bring carry-on, and so, like I said, they've gotten away from it. Like this one says, if you're looking for a cruise experience with comparatively lax dress codes, meaning you can wear jeans in the main dining room on most, if not all nights, I wouldn't, but Consider booking a sailing with a line with a relaxed approach to dress, such as Norwegian, Carnival, Disney, or Royal Caribbean. Now, we went on a Viking, which is a little above, a couple of grades above, a little more expensive. And we went on one in September. And I was really worried that maybe people would be a little more stuffy. They dress the same way we do. Yeah, some people may be a little dressier, but not much. I mean, you didn't even notice it if you weren't dressed up in formal stuff. And they didn't even have formal night. So there's always the buffet. Well, if they're going to have a formal night and you don't want to dress up, you don't go in the dining room that night. Eat at the buffet. It's always places to find to eat. So that's about it, Let's see, I got the I'll gain weight. I have to get dressed up. Was that number? No, that's number 13. Okay. I get my papers mixed up. Okay, number 14. I have to eat dinner at set times and or with people I don't know. No, you don't. Not anymore. They'll ask you if you want to do it at a set time. Yeah, you still have the option of doing that, and you choose that before. We don't pick the later seatings because of my, issues I have. I can't eat later. And you're usually back in time from excursions and things to go up and eat at a particular time. There's anytime dining. We like the anytime because then whenever we get back, we can go at anytime dining room and eat anytime. They also have a lot of outside restaurants. Some of them you pay extra for depending on the cruise line. Excuse me. And you can go to those. If you want to sit by yourself, just say, I'd like a table for two when you walk up to the dining room entrance. If you want to eat with the same people, then you request to eat with all the same people. If you don't care, if you want to meet new people, some guys, some people like that. So it just varies. Let's see what I wrote down as far as that. Number 15, the last one. I can't cruise alone. I can't because I don't want to. But before, if you wanted to go solo and you booked a cabin, you had to pay for 2 people in that cabin. A lot of the cruise lines have gotten wise. I wrote down there the ones that, the extra costs incurred by solo cruisers who stay alone in the cabins made for 2 were a drawback. Some lines waive or reduce these during promotional periods. They would have like a single supplement where maybe be a little cheaper, but now several ships like Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Costa Cunard, Holland American, and Virgin have cabins for 1. Do a search on YouTube. We watch so many YouTube videos on all the cruise ships where they'll show the configurations of the cabins, where they're at, just so many videos. You can learn a lot. They're making cabins for 1. And they look really neat. I've seen some of them. And there's also a few ships who have access to dedicated solo lounges and activities geared towards those who are on board without travel companions. We ran into a gal, we were on a riverboat cruise during the summer, and she was all by herself, and she said she travels by herself all the time. And we'd see her about, what the heck? If you love to travel, go. Okay. So that's about it. I think that's all I'm going to cover. So, have I answered any questions of some of the myths that you have? Please comment below, share, like, and subscribe. And I hope you derived some information from this cruise and that you're ready to go. Now is the month to start planning for next year especially. We've already done our January 2024 reservation. So contact a cruise agent if you're just really confused. They are specialists who should know what ships to match you up on, depending on what you're like. So I hope you're having a good day and a good new year. I love you all. Bye.